Tree, and this is Stitchless TV. I've been a bit quiet recently, and the reason why is because I've been making this. Now, whilst I love how it's come out, I really hated making it. Definitely easier to make clothes than work with really expensive fabric upholstering furniture. Now, I think in order for you to really appreciate this Orla Kiely covered sofa, but really it's lots of cushions, you need to see what it looked like before, because it didn't look too fantastic before. The before looks like this, except it had an old mattress underneath, and I made these covers out of some old curtains. But the reason why I kind of kept it, because I knew that there was hope. It was originally from Liberty's, I think in the 70s, and it's when Liberty's sold Habitat stuff, apparently, and it had an original William Morris cover on the daybed base. So what I did was, I had 3 proper foam cushions made, and then, inspired by this absolutely fantastic Orla Kiely exhibition that happened at the Fashion and Textile Museum, I saw this fabric on one of the giant dresses. So a few months afterwards, I went on a hunt for the fabric and I found it. Orla Kiely fabric, really expensive. And apparently in the world of upholstery fabric, it isn't even that expensive. So it was kind of like 70 something, but with delivery, because whenever you send rolls out, it's really expensive for the delivery as well. So ended up being, call it £80 a metre. So I couldn't afford to get loads and loads of it. So I got 2 metres of each. So 2 metres in 3 different colours. And I know that I wanted to mix up the colours. Wow, so difficult to make a decision about that. But anyway, so usually we all know, well, sewers usually know, that when you have a velvet and it has a nap, which is not when you go to sleep, but it's when you have to have the pattern or the fabric in a particular direction, otherwise it looks different. So, velvet, it has a nap. Look, that's smooth going down there. Actually, that's smooth going down there, but then when I go like that, you can feel like a resistance. So that caused quite a lot of problems for me, as I didn't have very much fabric. So what I did do was I turned it on its side and I treated the fabric as if that was the grain, because then I didn't have to deal with the nap, the up and down grain, and it just meant I could fit a lot more in, which is really good. Yeah, so I put different pattern on each side of most of the cushions, because I'm still not completely decided about the order. I spent a lot of time thinking. So look, that's got pink on the other side and purple on this side. I spent a lot of time about thinking about what order should the box cushions go in, which then determined which colours the bolsters should be. But because the black and the cream sort of scream out so much at being so different, I thought I had to have it in the middle, and then I had to have it framing it. But then honestly, but then I got really frustrated about, you know, if there are pink cushions here, then they're not clashing, they're the same. And the purple, I wanted the purple as the predominant colour, but then it's like touching that. But anyway, I think I'm going to leave it like this for now. So do you want to see a few details, although the details are not fantastic? It was hard to sew. honestly, it was hard to sew. So we all know velvet is hard to sew. So I used my walking foot, that wasn't great. Yeah, I even tacked it, that's still, it was okay. In the end, I used, like if you were fitting a sleeve head and you used loads and loads and loads of pins, that's what I ended up doing, and I hated it. So let's have a closer look, I'm being very brave here, at one of the box cushions, because I didn't have enough fabric. So, I had to do a nightmare thing. I really did not have enough fabric. And ordinarily, I know that when you do a box cushion, you know, you want to centralise the pattern, which I more or less did, and the step that goes around the cushion. Of course I know that it should be a continuous piece, but there was just no way that I could fit it in. So, look, I've had to do each separate. Each section I had to do separately. Oh, honestly. But I couldn't match each section up with the pattern. So what I did do, I don't know if you can see, is I tried my very best, and I haven't completely achieved it, to match it up at the front. But then of course, when you turn it over, look, it doesn't match up. Anyway, right, so let's not look at that anymore. My zip, I didn't kill myself with the zip, because I did feel like killing myself. So for the zip, if you want a closer look at that. Oh, let's go here, these are heavy. Look. So you can see my zip. I couldn't even be bothered with doing like a blind zip. I just couldn't, I couldn't handle it. It just felt like too much. Now, the way that I did the pattern for the box cushions, because my box cushions were quite new, I probably could have just measured them. But I hate it when you do covers for cushions and there's like a bit of slack in them. And when you take the measurements, it's difficult to take the measurements and allow for it being tighter kind of thing. Do you know what I mean? It's because you really want them squashed in there, don't you? So what I did was, I got an old sheet, really old sheet, and I basically wrapped up the box cushion as if I was wrapping up a present. So I sealed it all up, and then I drew out it was like draping on the stand. I drew out wherever my style lines, my seams were going to be. So remember, I had to do it in 4 sections, so I really needed to know exactly, you know, where the corners were going to be. And then I used that as my pattern. But I had to mark, which was the front section, the left, the right, the bottom, the top. Oh, honestly, I didn't enjoy it. I really didn't enjoy it at all. So I added these bolster cushions as well. I just cut a rectangle, they're actually a little bit big. I cut a rectangle, and what did I do? Measure the length of that rectangle, added a seam allowance so the zip could go in there, and then the circumference of the circle was the length of the rectangle, and then I added seam allowance. And I gathered around the circumference of the circle, not gathered, eased, but I couldn't do it with the gather foot on my machine, and I could have done zigzag with floss, but I didn't. I just did it by hand. I did like a small running stitch, and then I slightly eased it and gathered it. Yeah, but I think the bolsters, what do you call them? Yeah, look, I centralised the dot. I think they make it. But again, look, I haven't gone too crazy with the zip. Look, I'll show you on my balls. I haven't done, oh, hide myself. I haven't done a blind zip. It's just anything that was too fiddly, like things that you would normally do with sewing. Oh, it just wasn't nice. So I thought, well, that's fine, isn't it? So that goes there. But definitely worth doing, don't you think, having the bolsters? So I can't show you very well, and I don't know if you can see all of it. Can you see all of it? So, inspired by this dress, but I don't want a dress, I want a coat. I got the fabric as a present for me to make a coat with a 60s feel like that dress. But having used it, having used it for the upholstery, I don't know now. Anyway, can you do that comment below thing? And tell me, I'm going to sit down. Tell me if you think, should I make a 60s style coat, the new pattern that hasn't happened yet? So if you want to know where I got the fabric from, so it's the Orla Kiely collection from, I got mine anyway, from Sanderson's, who are a kind of curtain and upholstery fabric company that are online. Thank you so much for watching and see you again very soon. Bye!